Did you know that after Britain abolished the slave trade in 1807 and slavery itself in 1833, slave owners were compensated for their loss of property? The British government paid a staggering £20 million, which is the equivalent to around 17 billion today. This represented around 40% of the national budget. They had to compensate the owners because they couldn't simply seize someone's property without risking larger conflicts. Surprisingly, this £20 million was fully paid off in 2015. That means Britons alive today contributed to the ending of the slave trade.
What's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. And today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to jump on and talk to you a little bit about our history, the legacy of slavery and indentured labor in Trinidad. Now, the history of Trinidad is one of conquest, resistance, and survival. From the transatlantic slave trade to the arrival of the East Indian indentured laborers, the island history has been shaped by exploitation, resilience, and a legacy that still influences society today. The transatlantic slave trade was one of the most brutal systems of oppression in human history. Africans were captured, transported across the Atlantic, and forced into hard labor on sugar plantations under inhumane conditions. Britain officially abolished the slave trade in 1807, but slavery itself remained legal in the Caribbean until 1834. Even then, Britain implemented the apprenticeship system between 1834 and 1838, a scheme that forced freed Africans to continue working for their former masters under exploitative conditions. It was only after widespread resistance and economic shifts that full emancipation came in 1838. But let's be real, Britain didn't end slavery out of kindness. The system was crumbling under constant slave uprising, like the Baptist War in Jamaica between 1831 and 1832. And with the rise of the Industrial Revolution, free labor became more profitable than enslaved labor. With African laborers leaving plantations, Britain colonialists needed a new workforce. So they turned to India, a region already devastated by British colonial rule. They began recruiting workers under the indentured labor system between 1845 and 1917. Unlike African slavery, Indian indentured laborers signed contracts, often under misleading terms, agreeing to work for 5 years in exchange for wages, housing, and sometimes land. But in reality, many face harsh conditions, low pay, and racial discrimination, similar to what the African descendants endured. Over 147,000 Indians came to Trinidad, and their influence remains strong to this day. Today, Indo-Trinidadians and Afro-Trinidadians each make up between 35 and 40% of the population. And yet, despite shared histories of struggle, racial and political divide still run deep. Many Indo-Trinidadians vote almost exclusively for the UNC, the United National Congress, while Afro-Trinidadians tend to support the People's National Movement, the PNM. This racial division in politics isn't by accident. It was engineered by colonial rule, and it still affects us today. There are real tensions. Some Indo-Trinidadians see themselves as separate from or even superior to Afro-Trinidadians. On the other hand, some Afro-Trinidadians hold resentment, believing that Indian immigrants were given better treatment under colonial rule. But is it really about race? Or is it about power and politics using race as a weapon? The British may have left, but their divide and rule strategy still affects us today. The real question is, how do we break free from these colonial era divisions? Yes, history is important, but so is the future. It's time we have an honest conversation about race, power, and unity in Trinidad. We need to stop seeing ourselves as just Africans or Indians and start seeing ourselves as Trinidadians, a people with a rich, complex history and even greater future ahead. So, with all that said, let me know what you think. Please drop your comments. Let's keep this conversation going. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real discussion on history, race, and the future of Trinidad and Tobago. I will not tolerate any insults or nonsense on this platform. If you come onto this page wanting to spread your venom of hate, racial hatred, like some of you have done on previous videos, you will be deleted and banned from this network promptly. It will not be tolerated. Don't care who you are or who you think you are. It will not be tolerated. With that, I wish you a great day, my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you who tune in with a good heart and are willing to engage, I am willing to engage with you. Those of you who come here for negativity, prejudice, racism, and hate will be dealt with as such. I'll see you guys on the next video. For now, much love. Take care. Peace.